everyone! So I know this is a little bit unconventional for most of my videos, but I have to wait in this line anyway, so I figured I would film something. I'm out getting my emissions test for my car done, so if this is interrupted, that's why. But I wanted to answer a question that I got on Twitter the other day about my editing process. So essentially, I was asked to detail my editing process, and that's kind of a complicated thing to detail for me. It looks different every time, but I will do my best to walk you through how I edit. So step one of my process, I guess, is finishing the first draft. That is always step one of any process, of any writing process in general, is to finish something, right? So after I finish the first draft, then I go through and I reread the whole thing, using a tip that I learned from Stephen James in one of his workshops on writing. He suggested to read the whole book that you wrote as a reader. View it through a reader's eyes, not a writer's eyes. And so I do that. I go through and I reread my whole manuscript, in large part as a celebration of, hey, look what I did, I finished this thing, and also to get a feel for where things are lacking, what needs help, what needs to be fixed, so on and so forth. So I'll read the whole thing first, and then I'll be taking notes along the way of, this plot hole didn't quite make sense, or this thing needs work, or I need to rewrite this character, or this isn't matching up with what the character said in like chapter 2, right? So I go through and I look for inconsistencies. I do content editing. If you haven't heard of content editing, I'll put a link to one of my blog posts down below where I discuss content editing and even what content editing means. But that's the first thing that I do, is I read through it, I take notes as if I were going to content edit this as a editor, right? If I was going to pay myself to do something, what would I be looking for? That's step one, is going through, does this character make sense? Does the logical flow make sense? Did I miss anything important? Also, in this pass-through, I know one of my weaknesses as a writer is going in and not writing nearly enough detail for anything. So I completely underwrite, and that's okay. I've found that mostly the things that I don't write are the things that are descriptions or setting or general world building, mostly because I write in the contemporary world, so I forget that I still have to set up the world for readers. Stuff like that. So I go through and I add those things in, flesh out the world a little bit, flesh out the character backgrounds, flesh out character emotions and thoughts and feelings, on and on. And then I go through, after that pass, I go through and do a copy edit looking for all of my words that I use way too often. Words like that, or obviously, or for a really long time, instead of saying said, I used stated. I've finally broken that habit, but that was a thing I did for a really long time. And it's stuff like that that I have to go through and fix. So I intentionally look for the things that I know are my weak parts, my weak points. And then after I do all of that, then I send it off to my friends. I have a critique group of people that I trust to tell me the truth and to help me make this book the best that it can possibly be. They're all highly qualified editors. I got really lucky. I would not be the writer I am without them, so I am very grateful to them all the time for what they do and how they help me. After they have read it, and I get their feedback as readers who don't know what I'm talking about as a writer, things like the technology in my books, or would that actually be possible as a fight move, or wait, they were fighting, or wait, that was a dream, or anything like that, anything that made them pause. I go back and I reassess. And then if they give me suggestions that I like, I make those edits and edit those things in or adjust accordingly. And then after all of that is done, then I go through and I do another copy edit. Inevitably, every time you make edits, you put more mistakes in. It's just kind of a problem. It's a thing. So after I have finished my revisions of making things the way that they ought to be. Then I go through and I do a copy edit looking for grammar, spelling, all of that stuff. Then I'll go through and do a proofread, and then it's done, hands off, right? There's only so much you can do on a book before you work yourself silly, and I do my best not to work myself silly. Some books are going to take more than others. Oftentimes that happens in the first draft stage for me. I have to write a lot of things in order to even get to the point where I'm like, yeah, we're good to go here. This is something to work with. This is a good thing to use and go and follow this idea with. So don't freak out if it takes you a really long time, or if you get halfway through your initial content edits and it's like not what you thought you wanted or not what you thought you were doing. So that's my editing process. Pretty much as detailed as I can without actually just showing you me editing. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I didn't answer your questions. I can go over content editors and copy editors and proofreaders and everything that they do in another video in the future. I know I've talked about it some. I'll link to that video below or up there, one of the two. But if you have any other questions like this or want to know more about my process and everything like that, please let me know. You can reach me anywhere on social media at author JJ Hanna. Until next time, I'll see you then. If you like these videos and you want to see more, maybe without the mask, maybe not in the car, probably not in the car. I'm sitting in a line, not driving. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, check out the rest of my channel, and also click that little subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you know every time that I post a video. Until next time, I'll see you then. Bye!